When Calgary Mayor Jyoti Gondek was elected last year, one of the first things she brought before council was a motion to declare a climate emergency. It was fairly controversial. I want to talk to her about that, but more particularly, I want to talk to her about how that plays into Calgary's strategy to adapt to the global energy transition. So welcome to the interview, Mayor Gondek.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Well, pleased to have you here. You've said that fighting climate change just isn't about lowering emissions, but also about attracting investment and creating jobs. What do you mean by that?
Well, it was interesting to listen to Mark Carney talking about the trillions of dollars that are available from global markets, from organizations that are interested in cities and companies that are really moving the needle on energy transformation. So when I see that kind of capital available, it means to me that our city needs to send a strong signal that we are ready, willing, and able to move into a transforming economy. And when we look at the fact that we have a clean energy transition center located right downtown in Calgary, and we are headquarters to so many energy sector companies that are looking at pathways to net zero by 2050, I think it's important for us to send a clear signal to the world that you should come and invest here. We will help you find the types of solutions we need for a cleaner and more sustainable future.
Now, I've talked to energy transition experts all over the world, Mayor Gondek, and one of the consistent things they say is the importance of policy and regulation to change. And the city as a municipal government is a little different than a provincial or a federal government. So what can the city of Calgary do to lead or assist with the transition to cleaner energy?
It's an excellent question. And if we are not the ones that are setting the policy, we should definitely be the ones that are leading by example. So the day that we were debating our climate emergency declaration, we had an energy leaders breakfast, and we brought in a lot of senior folks from the energy sector. And what we said to them was pretty simple. As a local government, we have not made the type of commitment that you've made to net zero. So we would like to walk in step with you towards a more sustainable future. That's why we are bringing this declaration forward. We recognize the leadership that you have demonstrated, and we are here with you. That was a particularly strong message. We are now in step with the private sector. And I think that's the thing that Calgary can do as a city and a corporation. We can drive the innovation by actually employing some of those practices that we need to.
Well, what are some of Calgary's biggest energy transition challenges?
I think we need to do an audit of our civic facilities, any of the assets that we have that belong to the city of Calgary. There are other jurisdictions in this province that have been through that type of a clean energy audit. We have not, so we need to move forward with that. We need to also look at electrifying our fleet. We have a number of vehicles that serve different purposes. How do we make them more efficient? So those are just two of the original steps that we can take. I think the other thing that we need to do, and we've started this with Opportunity Calgary Investment Fund, where do we allocate incentives or dollars to make sure that the types of companies that will help our local startups scale up are able to come here? So there's a combination of things we need to do. We need to spur the economy. We need to spur the innovation sector, but we also need to be looking at our own assets.
When is it likely that your council will begin to roll out some of these initiatives?
Our council did the declaration, and then about 6 weeks after that, there was a notice of motion that was brought forward, providing the type of criteria that we would like to see used by administration. So we gave them an understanding of how we want to measure success. And now that we have a director in place who is committed to the climate strategy, we will start to see some of those indicators come out, and we'll be able to measure how we are progressing to target.
When you think about the energy transition, where do you see Calgary in 2030?
I see Calgary in a really interesting position of having demonstrated to the world that we have evolved into a future that is sustainable. I think it is incredibly heartwarming to know that our clean tech sector here has received attention globally. We are one of the top 5 cities for clean tech. And when you unpack what that means, 51% of the founders of clean tech companies in Calgary are first-time founders. So these are folks that are just trying something new. 28% of them are born outside of Canada, and 23% of them are women. So we are demonstrating now that as we begin to diversify our economy, we're actually diversifying leadership within our business community as well. And so we become a more inclusive and welcoming place for people to come and set up shop.
Now, one of the things I'm seeing quite often out of the University of Calgary is a lot of research that's leading to spin-off corporations that led by former professors, sometimes graduates. Is there going to be a strong, or is there a strong relationship between the university and the city in growing clean tech?
Absolutely. University of Calgary is one of the partners in the Energy Transition Center, which has a number of energy companies as part of it. Kevin Krausert, who's been leading the charge from Avatar Innovations, has also managed to attract the attention of Sir Richard Branson and Elon Musk in terms of funding some of the carbon removal accelerator projects that are going on. So the university is a critical partner. They have been with us from the beginning. And as a corporation, we also have a formal partnership with them to work on research and some of the applied research solutions that we need to be a better city.
Now, Mayor Gondek, final question. Are there one or two examples of companies involved in clean tech or maybe other energy-related sectors that kind of illustrate, where you think the city is going?
I would say that one of the most recent examples we have is Plug and Play. And Plug and Play is a company that came to Calgary because they saw we have an incredible startup market, and they are very keen on making sure that those startups are able to scale up. Plug and Play has been working with cities in Europe and making them more energy efficient by looking at their supply chain and logistics systems. They have been working with the private sector to ensure that people who have aggressive goals, there's a lot of folks in the automotive industry that are looking at moving to electrification within half a decade. That's incredibly aggressive. Plug and Play is connected with them. So that's probably the top example of a company that chose Calgary because of the talent that we have here.
Mayor Gondek, thank you very much for this, and good luck with your energy transition strategy.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.